The Mountain Within, a story of resilience, discovery, and transformation. Chapter 1, The Valley of Shadows. Marcus Chun sat in his cramped apartment, staring at the rejection email on his laptop screen. The blue light cast harsh shadows across his face, highlighting the dark circles under his eyes. It was a 43rd rejection in 6 months. 43 companies had looked at his resume, his experience, his dreams, and decided he wasn't enough. The apartment smelled of instant noodles and stale coffee. Dishes piled high in the sink, a monument to his declining motivation. Outside, the city hummed with life. People rushing to jobs they had, pursuing dreams that hadn't yet crumbled. Inside, Marcus felt like he was drowning in quicksand, each struggle only pulling him deeper. He had been a software engineer at a promising startup. Then came the layoffs. Budget cuts, they said. Nothing personal, they said, but it felt personal. It felt like the universe had singled him out, marked him as unworthy, and pushed him into this dark valley where hope went to die. Marcus closed his laptop and walked to a window. The sun was setting over the concrete jungle, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Beautiful, he thought bitterly. Even the sky mocked him with its effortless beauty, while he couldn't even land an interview. His phone buzzed. His mother. He ignored it. He couldn't bear to hear the concern in her voice, the unspoken question. What's wrong with you? Why can't you get it together? She had sacrificed so much to put him through college, working double shifts at the hospital, believing her son would achieve great things. Now look at him. The phone buzzed again. This time, a text from his old college roommate, Jake. Hey man, want to grab drinks tonight? Haven't seen you in forever. Marcus typed and deleted 3 different responses before settling on. Busy. Rain checked. The truth was, he couldn't face Jake. Jake, with his cushy tech job and his Instagram perfect life. Jake, who inevitably asked about work, about his job search, about his plans. Marcus had no plans. He had nothing but this apartment, these rejection emails, and a growing sense that he had somehow taken a wrong turn in life and couldn't find his way back. That night, sleep eluded him. He lay in bed, mind racing with worst-case scenarios. What if he never found a job? What if his savings ran out? What if he had to move back in with his mother, admitting complete and total failure? The thoughts spiraled, each one darker than the last, until finally, mercifully, exhaustion claimed him around 4 a.m. He dreamed of mountains, vast, impossibly tall mountains that stretched endlessly into clouds. He was trying to climb one, but his hands couldn't find purchase on the slick rock face. Every time he thought he had a grip, his fingers would slip and he'd fall, only to find himself back at the bottom, starting over. The dream repeated, again and again, a cruel loop of effort and failure. When Marcus woke, his sheets were drenched with sweat. The morning light streaming through the window felt aggressive, intrusive. He pulled the covers over his head, wanting nothing more than to disappear into the darkness. But something about that dream nagged at him. The mountain, the endless climbing. There was something there, some message his subconscious was trying to send. He threw off the covers and stumbled to his desk, pulling out an old notebook from college. On the first page, in his younger, more optimistic handwriting, he had written, "The obstacle is the way." It was a quote from a philosophy book he'd read freshman year, when he still believed in things like destiny and purpose. The obstacle is the way. He stared at those words for a long time, feeling something stir in his chest. Not hope exactly. Not yet. But maybe the shadow of hope's possibility. Marcus made a decision then. He didn't know if it was the right decision. He didn't know if it would lead anywhere. But he knew he couldn't keep doing what he was doing. He couldn't keep sending out resumes to companies that would never respond. Couldn't keep drowning in his own despair. He opened a new document on his laptop and began to type, Day 1, Chapter 2, the first step. Day 1 turned out to be harder than Marcus anticipated, not because of any grand gesture or dramatic change, but because of how small and insignificant each action felt. He forced himself to make his bed. It took 3 minutes. Then he washed the dishes. Another 20 minutes. These tiny victories felt absurd in the face of his mountain of problems, but he did them anyway. He remembered reading somewhere that motivation follows action, not the other way around. That you don't wait to feel motivated to act. You act, and motivation comes later. It sounded like self-help nonsense, but Marcus was desperate enough to try anything. After cleaning, he sat at his desk and made a list. Not a to-do list for the day, but a list of everything he had learned in his years as a software engineer. Every language, every framework, every skill. The list grew longer than he expected. He had forgotten how much he actually knew, how capable he had once been. The layoff had made him feel like a failure, but looking at this list, he realized he wasn't starting from zero. He was starting from experience. Next to that list, he made another one. Things he wanted to learn. New technologies he had been curious about, but never had time to explore. Cloud architecture, machine learning, blockchain. The list excited him in a way he hadn't felt in months. Maybe, he thought, this forced pause wasn't just a setback. Maybe it was an opportunity. That afternoon, Marcus did something he hadn't done in weeks. He went for a run. His body protested with every step, muscles and used the exertion. By the end of the block, he was gasping for air, but he kept going, one foot in front of the other, one breath after another, just like the mountain in his dream, one handhold at a time. The run took him through a park he'd forgotten existed. Children played on swings, their laughter piercing the air. An elderly couple walked hand in hand, moving slowly but steadily along the path. A young woman sat on a bench, reading a book, completely absorbed in another world. Marcus realized he had spent so much time in his apartment, in his own head, that he had forgotten there was an entire world out here, full of people living their lives, facing their own challenges. When he returned home, sweaty and exhausted, Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Accomplished. It was a small thing, just a 2-mile run, but he had done it. He had set a goal and achieved it. That night, he updated his document. Day 1, made bed, washed dishes, made lists, ran 2 miles, still unemployed, but did more today than I've done in 2 months. Day 2 was harder. The initial burst of motivation had faded, replaced by the familiar weight of reality. Marcus woke up and immediately thought about skipping his run. His legs ached. It was raining outside. He had 100 good excuses. But he remembered the dream, the mountain, the endless climbing. He put on his running shoes. The rain was cold and unforgiving. Within minutes, Marcus was soaked through. He wanted to turn back, but he kept going, remembering something his high school track coach used to say, "Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now." What did Marcus want most? He wanted his life back. He wanted to feel capable again. He wanted to climb out of this valley. When he got home, dripping water all over his apartment floor, he felt a strange sense of pride. He had run in the rain. He had done the hard thing. He opened his laptop and started learning about cloud architecture, working through tutorials, taking notes. Hours passed without him noticing. That evening, his mother called again. This time, he answered, "Marcus, I was getting worried. You haven't returned my calls." "I know, Mom. I'm sorry. I've just been dealing with some stuff. Have you found anything yet?" The familiar shame washed over him, but this time he pushed through it. "No, but I'm working on it. I'm learning new skills, getting better. It's going to take time, but I'm not giving up." He could hear the relief in her voice when she spoke again. "That's my boy. I know you'll figure it out. You always do." After they hung up, Marcus sat in the darkness of his apartment, his mother's words echoing in his mind. "You always do." Did he, though? He thought about all the times he had failed, all the times things hadn't worked out. But he also thought about all the times he had persevered, all the obstacles he had overcome to get where he was. Maybe his mother was right. Maybe he did have it in him. Days turned into weeks. Marcus established a routine. Wake up at 6 a.m. Make bed. Run 3 miles. Shower. Study for 4 hours. Break for lunch. Study for 3 more hours. Apply to 5 jobs. Dinner. Read. Sleep. Repeat. It was monotonous. It was exhausting. But slowly, imperceptibly, he began to change. His 3-mile runs became 5-mile runs. His cloud architecture knowledge deepened. He started building projects, small applications that demonstrated his new skills. He joined online communities, started contributing to open source projects. He wasn't just sending out resumes anymore. He was becoming someone worth hiring.